What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, two-time junior middleweight world champion superstar boxer who is the unified WBC, IBF, WBA, Ring Magazine, junior middleweight world champion superstar boxer Jermell Charlo, who will be going into an undisputed showdown with WBO junior middleweight world champion Brian Castano, that's scheduled to take place July 17th. With that said, Jermell Charlo, he got wind. First of all, Jermell Charlo, 34 wins, 1 loss, no draws, 18 wins by way of knockout. Jermell Charlo is 31 years of age, stands at 5'11" with a 73-inch arm reach. And again, he'll be taking on undefeated Brian Castano July 17th. With that stated, Jermell Charlo got wind of another fighter in two-division world champion, former junior welterweight unified world champion, former WBC welterweight world champion, superstar boxer Danny Swift Garcia. 36 wins, 3 losses, no draws, 21 wins by way of knockout. Danny Garcia is 33 years of age, stands at 5'8" with a 68.5-inch arm reach. Last time we saw him in the ring, oddly enough, he was taking on Jermell Charlo's close friend and undefeated unified WBC, IBF welterweight world champion superstar boxer who is widely considered by many to be top 3 pound-for-pound best fighters in the world, and Errol the True Spence Jr. Errol Spence Jr., he beat Danny Garcia, unanimous decision victory. With that said, Danny Garcia stated that he's training to gain weight. He's looking to move up. Danny Garcia is planning to gain weight and move up to junior middleweight. Danny Garcia says that the junior middleweight division needs a major player and a big name like himself to be able to carry the division. He says that obviously Jermell Charlo is a big name, but Danny Garcia is a bigger name, and there's nobody else in the junior middleweight division that carries a name like himself. So Jermell Charlo, he caught wind of this, and Jermell Charlo says, Danny Garcia, quote, Danny Garcia was slow at junior welterweight. He was slow at welterweight, and he's going to be even slower at junior middleweight. He says he's just gaining all that weight to be able to stand his ground, and garner more power. Danny Garcia is viewed as a counterpuncher. He has power in both hands, definitely in his hooks, okay? Danny Garcia is definitely heavy-handed, but he's not the biggest guy in the world. So Jermell Charlo, he got wind of this, and Jermell Charlo, he responds. And Jermell Charlo is saying he would definitely and gladly welcome Danny Garcia to the division. Let's just listen to what Jermell Charlo had to say.
I stand into this weight division and fuck with me. And if Danny Garcia want to taste that water, it's deep over in this ocean. Let him come and see what this thing got, this action about. He don't got to lose weight. He was a lot slower at 147 fighting Errol Spence. He want to gain some weight and try to put on some power so he can put on some pounds. It ain't gonna help. This is different over here. I stand.
So you heard what he said. He says, I stand firm on what I had to say. You're not going to come to this division and make no name off of me, right? Essentially saying that I'm the lion, I run this division. So he says Danny Garcia, he was slow at welterweight when he fought Errol Spence. Now he wants to gain more weight to try to garner power. I will gladly welcome him to the division after the Brian Castano fight. Now, Jermell Charlo is very skilled. He's very technically sound. He has good defense. He has good movement. He's great boxing ability, great jab. He changes levels. We know he stopped Jason Rosario with a jab, and he's big at 5'11" with nearly a 74-inch arm reach, and Danny Garcia at 5'8". So he's going to have a 3-inch height advantage over Danny Garcia, and he's going to have nearly a 5-inch arm reach advantage over Danny Garcia. And he's quicker than Danny Garcia. He has more power than Danny Garcia. Yeah, Danny Garcia packs a punch at welterweight and junior welterweight. But when he moves up, yeah, he'll still pack a punch. And he still be very risky. Right? You have to be cautious of Danny Garcia and these hooks. But for the most part, Danny Garcia doesn't pack more power than Jermell Charlo. We saw how Danny Garcia, he struggled with Errol Spence Jr. Errol Spence Jr. essentially won every round that he didn't choose to take off. Not slighting Danny Garcia, but it just is what it is that when Errol Spence fatigued, you can see him looking up at the clock. It was his first fight in 14 months. We know the situation. So he fatigued, but when he wasn't fatigued, he clearly won the rounds, okay? He was just piling them up and, just packing on the rounds. You understand what I'm saying? Just collecting rounds, dominating Danny Garcia. So Jermell Charlo is much more aggressive, I believe, than Errol Spence. He's bigger, he's stronger, he's acclimated to junior middleweight. It would be a great fight for Jermell Charlo. I expect Jermell Charlo to get past Brian Castano. As I stated, Brian Castano is a power puncher, but interestingly enough, he has similarities to Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia, 36 wins. Like I stated, his 3 losses was the biggest fights of his career. Keith Thurman, Sean Porter, and Errol Spence Jr., okay? So I expect Jermell Charlo to get past Brian Castano. I believe that Brian Castano's style is tailor-made for Jermell Charlo. I believe the versatility of Jermell Charlo is going to be far too much for Brian Castano. I believe the size of Jermell Charlo is going to be too much and overwhelming for Brian Castano. Brian Castano, 17 wins, no losses, 1 draw, 12 wins by way of knockout, 31 years of age. He's 5'7.5" with a 67.5-inch arm reach. So like I said, Danny Garcia is 5'8" with a 69-inch arm reach. So, Danny Garcia is actually slightly taller than Brian Castano and has a 2-inch arm reach. So he's an inch taller and a 2-inch arm reach advantage over Brian Castano, that being Danny Garcia. Brian Castano is an Argentina fighter that packs a lot of power. He beat Teixeira for the WBO title, and Teixeira was a big junior middleweight at 5'11.5" with a 76-inch arm reach. But Brian Castano, obviously, for the duration of his career, has been fighting bigger guys, so he knows how to work his way on the inside. But that won't be the case when it's with Jermell Charlo, because Jermell Charlo is very technically sound. Jermell Charlo is very disciplined. Jermell Charlo, uses his jab, controls the pace of the fight, controls the distance of the fight very well. Now, the toughest fight in Jermell Charlo's career was against Tony Harrison, obviously. He lost to Tony Harrison. But Tony Harrison is a big junior middleweight, okay? Tony Harrison, is very lanky. Tony Harrison may be the best pure boxer at junior middleweight. Tony Harrison, 28 wins, 3 losses, 1 draw, 21 wins by way of knockout. All 3 of his losses he was knocked out. Tony Harrison is 6'1" with a 76-inch arm reach. So he's 2 inches taller than Jermell Charlo. He has a 2-inch arm reach advantage over Jermell Charlo, and he's arguably the best pure boxer in the junior middleweight division. So it wasn't no surprise that he gave Jermell Charlo issues, okay? But Jermell Charlo, after losing the first fight, now I thought that Tony Harrison had a close fight with Jermell Charlo first fight, but I thought Jermell Charlo won the first fight. The judges didn't see it that way. That's what's most important. And in the second fight, some people could say and argue that Tony Harrison was winning the fight. In the second half of the fight, Jermell Charlo, he started to bring it on. Jermell Charlo, he ended up knocking out Tony Harrison. So, then the way he knocked out Jason Rosario was impressive. So, he's a big puncher. He's a big guy, Jermell Charlo. And that's not what Danny Garcia brings to the table. Danny Garcia is a sit-back fighter. He sits back. He's a counter puncher. Danny Garcia is looking to counter his opponents. Danny Garcia is looking to, for you to be the aggressor. Now, Jermell Charlo won't mind taking the lead. He's going to use his jab, but he's rangy, okay? He's more rangy than Errol Spence at 5'9" with a 72-inch arm reach. He's 5'11", nearly 6 feet, with a 74-inch arm reach. So he's 2 inches taller than Errol Spence, and he has 2-inch arm reach advantage over Errol Spence. And Errol Spence's height and reach gave Danny Garcia issues. And now Jermell Charlo can touch him from even further distance than Errol Spence was, and he's going to be even more aggressive, and he's just as quick as Errol Spence. He's able to get in, transition from offense to defense very fluidly. So I believe that Jermell probably be the first person to stop Danny Garcia. I believe if this fight is made, I believe Jermell Charlo would be the first fighter to actually stop Danny Garcia. I believe it's a bad matchup for Danny Garcia. And I believe that, there's certain fights, possibly at 154, Danny Garcia could win, but there's not many. Those guys are very big, and Danny Garcia's style is suitable for theirs. Okay, it's tailor-made for their style. So let's see how this plays out and unfolds. Make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue, Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.
Hi, my name is Heather the Heat Hardy, and you're watching Blue Blood Sports TV.